This channel does not promote or encourage any illegal activities. All contents provided by this channel is meant for educational purpose only.
What's going on? You already know who it is, man. It's your boy Trouble T-Roy, aka Get Kicks, aka Mr. Controversy. And I'm gonna just jump into it. Today, as promised, I am delivering episode 1 for Sneaker Culture Vultures. And I have to take it all the way back to the beginning of where this nonsense and these shenanigans started. So on today's episode of Sneaker Culture Vulture, we got to go with the biggest one and the whole reason why this authentication process exists, which is Stockx. Yes, you heard me say it, it's Stockx. Stockx is, I would say, responsible for a lot of the buffoonery in sneaker culture and sneaker resale culture, and they're not advancing the culture, they're actually monetizing and taking advantage of the culture. And this is the thing, and I guess we can say that this is my opinion here, and again, I'm using this for educational purposes, but I want to share with you why I feel that way and why this is my opinion. Simply because, number one, if you ever go back to look, there's a couple TED Talks that the former CEO of Stockx, Josh Luber, had done. And he was talking about, number one, in one of them, because I believe there's a few, but in one of them, he was talking about how Stockx is responsible and they created the authentication position. So people didn't start having authenticators until Stockx came about and created that position. The next thing is resale value. Now, this part, I have to say, I give credit where it's due. I think it's genius for creating like a stock market that determines the resale value. Now, do I feel like it's right? Absolutely not. Do I feel like it was a very smart move in a sense of sneaker resale and business and monetization? Absolutely. Because what that allowed them to do was it allowed them to corner the sneaker resale market, or the sneaker market in general, for those more hyped and more highly sought after shoes. Not like GR things that's easily purchased through a Foot Action or Foot Locker, but in the sense of the, I would say, mid-value, certain like Jordan 1s and the exclusive and the super exclusive. They determine the price market for that. So here's the crazy part. All of the resale outlets you see, whether it be boutiques, whether it be GOAT, sneaker resale websites, resellers, pretty much everybody goes back to the pricing guide of Stockx. So they cornered the market and monopolized the market with that. Now, here's why I say that I feel like they're culture vultures, because that's taking from the culture, and the lack of affordability of these shoes to the general public is insane. So now, if you really want a dope shoe or a highly sought after shoe, number one, you already know you're not getting them retail. So you have to go to an outlet like a Stockx in order to get them, which again is significantly overpriced. So that's taking from the culture. I remember we could stand in line to buy certain shoes, to buy Jordans, to buy whatever the case may be, Air Maxes or whatever the case may be, certain Air Force Ones. You were able to stand in line to get those shoes. Now, whenever they do collaborations, the brands do collaborations with other streetwear brands or things of that nature, these things are hard to get, and they're very hard to get retail. And the numbers of these shoes that release are so minimal that the chances of you likely hitting on the sneakers app or getting them at a retail location is very small. You dig what I'm saying? So in essence, pretty much reason why I've chosen Stockx as the Sneaker Culture Vultures in episode 1 is because they've taken away and they've turned something that's a love and a passion for a lot of people into business monetization, and not in a fair way and not in fair practice. They've turned it into business monetization to literally almost doubling, tripling retail prices, if not more, and making it hard for the regular consumer, for the regular worker, for somebody who doesn't have a high-paying job, or somebody that has a family to take care of and may not have that kind of money to spend on sneakers, and they jack the price up like that. So the regular consumer can't even take advantage of sneaker culture. So it's kind of wipe regular sneaker culture out. And some people say the hunt for the exclusive is the fun. Not really, because again, you hunt, and 90% of the time, you're not going to bring back any prey, because again, these major outlets are controlling that. It's so bad that it's controlling the retail portion of it. Resale is controlling retail. It should be the other way around. Retail should be controlling resale, but it's the flip. So people that really are passionate about it, that collect shoes and that like to wear their shoes and like to kind of have a moment to where they have something really dope, guess what? Now that is limited. Like, that feeling is limited now. It's very limited. You got to be a big Willie or a baller, have a lot of money now to purchase some really, really dope shoes. Well, we know the truth, but again, and before I go into the next episode or who's going to be on the chopping block next, I want you to take a look at this clip really quick in regards to what Stockx does in their authentication process. Now, this clip is a few years old, but pay attention to a couple of things. I'm going to mention them up front because I don't want to interrupt the clip or the video. And again, this is for educational purposes only. So look at this clip. Pay attention to the authentication. Listen to what this gentleman says the requirements are for an authenticator. Also, listen to the authenticator talk about how he inspects the shoes to determine whether they're real versus fake. Listen to what he says about the smell. Listen to what he says about the box. Listen to what he says about the stitching and things like that. It's a very vague authentication process. But then also, he said something very key that I think I should be able to slow it up for you, that you hear what he says. But I'll tell you the line. He says from the factory. He says from the factory. Then he kind of tries to fix it later by saying, he says it again while putting the shoes in the box, like saying like factory shoes, but he says specifically from the factory. So actually check out this clip and let me know your thoughts in the comments, because again, after this clip, I don't think it's really much for me to jump into. You'll see everything for yourself. So again, thank you for checking out episode 1 of Sneaker Culture Vultures. Episode 2 will be coming very soon, and I will holla at you. Peace.
So what kind of qualifications do you have to work here?
There's many jobs here. Authenticators are sort of the most notable. For any authentication position, I mean, we could theoretically teach anybody to do it. But, you know, usually it's someone that has to really love that product, because, you know, an authenticator can see a couple hundred pairs of shoes a day, you know. And so, you know, a lot of times we find people that come out of retail, maybe they worked at Foot Locker, or, you know, or maybe they were reselling on their own. It's usually people that love sneakers.
So when I get this, I take it from the rack. The first thing that I want to do is look at the label, and I want to inspect the box through a 360 of the box to make sure that it isn't messed up, it doesn't have any rips or holes in it. Once I've done that, take the lid off. I have an invoice in here that gives me most of all the information that I need on here. From there, I will scan it on our little scanner, pop up on our screen what I need, and from there, I will take both shoes out. You want to set them up left and right because you want to make sure that you have a left and a right shoe, not two rights, not two lefts. So once I set them side by side, I do my 360 inspection. Once I've done my 360 inspection, I want to go into my right shoe and do a more detailed look into it.
What are you looking for?
There's a bunch of different things you can look for. You look for stitching, you can look for to make sure that the size of the Nike sign is right. It just varies for different shoes, so it just depends on the shoe. Once I've checked that, I give it a quick whiff. The reason I give it a whiff is because some of these shoes are a lot older and they have them in people's homes, so you just want to make sure that it's not smelling like people's homes, or if they're a smoker, or if they have pets or anything like that. You want to make sure that it smells like it would be from the factory.
You want to make sure that it smells like it would be from the factory.
Once everything is correct, I grab my authentication tag, and I always want to make sure that I tag the left shoe. Once I tag the shoe, I want to place it back in the box factory, wrap it back up like it should be, and then I pass it to my processor.
What do you do when something's fake?
So if we get a fake shoe, typically some customers don't know that their shoes are fake, so what we do is we just send it back to the customer and let them know that their shoes aren't authentic.